Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present my paper with the title The Application of Environmental Law Principle in European Union Free Deforestation and Impacts on Indonesian Palm Oil. Me as Siti Khairunnissa and my team Mia Aulina Lubis and Fajar Khaify. Siti Khairunnissa and Fajar Khaify Rizky come from Faculty of Law, Universitas Sumatera Utara. Mia Aulina Lubis come from Faculty of Social and Political Science, Universitas Sumatera Utara. Here's our outlines. First, introduction. Second, method, problems, result, and discussion, conclusions, and recommendations. Introductions. 90% of the world palm oil produced from Indonesia and Malaysia. Based on data, BPS, or we call that a Central Bureau of Statistics, in 2023, European Union is a strategic and a potential market share. This is proven by the fact that EU occupies first positions based on data, and the value of palm oil exports amounting to 2,204 million US dollars in the period January until October 2022. According to FAO reports, million works in the palm oil industry from planting and processing, while the sector boosts economics, environmental impact, especially deforestation, and growing concerns. Converting land from palm oil plantation often leads to deforestation, tropical forests, and reducing carbon sinks. EUDR aims to ensure that products consumed by EU citizens do not contribute to the deforestation or forest degradation for what after 2020. EUDR applies to palm oil commodities and Indonesia among the countries experiencing deforestation. This policy only focuses suppressing the rate of deforestation without considering global economic aspects, including palm oil and export activities. This paper used the normative legal research, which studied international agreements, conventions, regulation, norms, or principle in regulations such as EUDR 2023. Given the research is normative, but the data is come from the secondary data, namely data through the literature studies or review of various literature or library materials related to problem or research materials. There are three problems in our paper. First, how the application of environmental law principle in EUDR influences palm oil industry policy and practice in Indonesia. How can Indonesia harmonize in its domestic law with EUDR standard? And the third, how can Indonesia effectively monitor and verify compliance with the EUDR requirements, especially in remote areas with the complex supply chains? First, the application of environmental law as principle in the influence palm oil industry policies and practice in Indonesia. In Article 90 EU Regulations 2023 stated that the Union is committed to promoting and implementing ambitious environments and climate policy across the world in accordance in set Charter of Fundamental Rights, in particular European Union, in particular Article 27, provide the high level environment protections and the improvement the quality environment to be integrated into the policy and ensure that with the principle sustainable development. This principle to enforce regulation governing palm oil production, including land use planning, but legal land use classification palm oil was not available in Indonesia. And the second precautionary principle has been stated in Article 46 FAU regulations. This principle stated that there are threats and a serious irreversible damage like full scientific certainty should be not used reason postponing post-effective measure to prevent environmental degradations. And the second, harmonizing Indonesian domestic law with the EUDR standards. EUDR makes distinctions between mass criteria in Article 29 and integrated into risk assessment, and my criteria Article 29.4 in considered non-mandatory. We can see the Indonesian law in the government regulation of procedure changes in destination function the forest area government regulation 57 2016 on the peat protection. This rule helped reduce deforestation, forest degradation, including peatlands. But no regulation explicitly and directly prohibits even curb deforestation. Omnibus Law number 6 for year 2023, job creations, eliminates environment, civil society in the preparation environmental assessment document. Although currently civil society could contribute considerable on the grounds observation about companies. In this absent adequate policy to stop deforestation, palm oil plantation shares of responsibility driving conversions of natural forests in risings. Commodity plantation expansion rates, trade trend should be criteria on make criteria on EUDR. We can see from the Indonesian law in Presidential Regulation 44 2020 on Indonesia Sustainable Palm Oil Plantation Certification System, or we call ISPO, is now being revised to require ISPO, but all the way to the factory level by November 2025. In response, EUDR obligation, ISPO has operational maps of plantation areas, should detail forests and peatlands and other land use locations of forest operation. This map, however, now publicly accessible in EUDR Article 29.4. And the third, monitoring and verifying compliance with the IDR requirement, especially in remote areas with a complex supply chains in Indonesia. There are some selects transparency and restricted availability of data related to deforestation and the legality of loyal plantation show. So, monitoring and verifying compliance with the EUDR, especially in remote areas with complex supply chains, presents a significant challenge. However, a combination technological and institutional approach can help address this challenge as the lack of the international ISPO traceability system and limited sector coverage of ISPO certifications. There are some process. Indonesians should have a geographical information system to map and analyze spatial data, empower government agency responsible for environmental monitoring and enforcement, and the third, establish effective partnership with the local communities and civil society, building the capacity of the local communities and government officials to use interpreted data is essential. Here's my conclusions. There are two environmental law principles in EUDR influence. First, precautionary principle can lead the stricter regulation and increase scrutiny from production practices in Indonesia. And the second, sustainable development, ensure that sustainable development of palm oil sector to contribute global efforts to combat deforestation and climate change. And the second, EUDR, EUDR makes decision between mass criteria Article 29.3, which is integrated into risk assessment, and my criteria Article in 29, we can be considered and not mandatory. Indonesia should be encouraged to adopt domestic legislations, the commitment to prevent deforestation. And the third, combination of technological institutional approach can help address challenges such as lack of operational ISPO traceability system and limited sector coverage as ISPO certification. Recommendation: develop and strictly enforce regulation governing palm oil production, including land use planning with precautionary principle. And the second, Indonesia should develop regulation strengthening existing regulation such as the job creation law. And the third, Indonesia should ready to provide expertise, technological services to ensure regulatory adherence with concurrently fostering sustainable future. That's all my presentation. We if you any queries with my email, sitikhairunnissa@usul.id. Thank you.